Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the concept of the Hieros Gamos, which is a sacred sexual ritual between twin flames that is the actual union of twin flames. It's a sexual act that combines, and this is what I got from this tarot reading I'm about to talk about. It's the sexual union between two twin flames of both their physical and astral bodies, and the coming together of these of the astral selves and the physical selves of two twin flames creates the union. And so there's a lot of talk about union, and people kind of think of union as like a relationship, and yes, that's part of the relationship, but what happens before the relationship is this consummation of this spiritual marriage, which is a sexual ritual. Okay, so that's what I had a dream a few days ago in which someone who I believe is my twin flame, and I say believe because I don't know. I have not experienced union with him, and because I have not experienced union, I reserve judgment on whether or not he is my twin flame. Now, some people say, well, I just know all these synchronicities, all these things are happening to me that never happened to me before. I'm becoming more psychic, more intuitive, more in touch with who I am. Well, that's nice, but I really, in my opinion, you cannot know if someone is your twin flame until you're in union with them. Now, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and I respect that, but my opinion is, unless you are in union, in a relationship with your twin flame, you cannot be certain it's your twin flame, because all of the things, all the symptoms, the synchronicities, the psychic connections, the telepathy, the synchronicities, all of those things I have experienced in my past relationships with soulmates. So now I can tell you that what I have experienced with this particular man is much more intense than what I experienced with my previous partners, but I've never actually been in a relationship with him. We're just friends. We've never had a physical relationship. So I don't know. I think so. There are a lot of the twin flame signs. I definitely have them. It's definitely, I seem to be on that journey. But, maybe I'm just a little skeptical, a little doubtful. I like to, it's not that I don't believe. It's just that I reserve judgment. I don't want to make assumptions. I don't want to presume. And so I always leave a little bit of room for myself to be able to say, okay, maybe I was wrong about that. But I don't say that, anybody else has to feel that way. If you feel like somebody is definitely your twin flame, and you're on a twin flame journey and all of that, then that's awesome. I also kind of don't like the label twin flame because, there's just so many definitions of what that means, and it's very unclear what that is. And I think when it comes to spiritual processes, humans have a tendency to label them, and we don't really fully understand the spiritual aspect of being alive. We don't have access to that in the way that we have access to the things we can detect with our five senses. The things beyond the five senses, those are things that we have to guess at. We have to believe in. There's no tangible proof to it. And so it's all just a guessing game. That's my take on it. Okay, but I'm going to, just for the sake of this video, talk about this person that I've had these experiences with as my twin flame. Okay, so that's out of the way with. All right, so let's talk about the Hieros Gamos. It's a sacred sexual union and marriage between twin flames. It's not the kind of marriage where you go to a church or to City Hall and you get a piece of paper that says you're legally married. That's not what this is, okay? This is something that happens in the astral realm, and it's beyond human law, human convention. It's not any of that. It's much deeper than that. And in my opinion, it's the only kind of true marriage that there is. Now, you can have a piece of paper on earth that says you're married to somebody, and that's great. But it doesn't actually, mean a whole lot. It gives you benefits, it gives you legal benefits. That's basically it. So, I've never been a huge fan of marriage. Now, some of you may be like, oh, I want to get married and have kids. That's fine. Everybody is entitled to their own dreams and, what they want. I've been married, definitely to the wrong person. I got divorced, and, it's just, marriage didn't make me closer to the person that I married. So I don't see the big deal about marriage, in the legal sense anyway. Okay, so I know I have been talking now for almost 8 minutes. Let's get into this reading. This is a channeled message. I asked for my guides, spirit, whatever you want to call it. I asked them to please tell me, using the tarot cards, what the Hieros Gamos actually is. And this is the message that I received. Now, let's talk about the first thing I wanted to know. Well, what is it? Okay? And I'm going to move this light over here for now because these cards are very dark. This tarot deck is called the Tarot de la Nuit, okay, which is French. So it's tarot, D-E, new word, la, L-A, new word, nuit, N-U-I-T, which translates to tarot of the night. Okay, so what is this? The Hieros Gamos is a death and transformation. It's a death and a rebirth. It is an ending of the old and the beginning of something new. Okay? What else is it? The Tower. It's destruction. It's the end of something. Now, most people, when they look at the Tower, they think, oh my God, this is awful. I'm going to go through a dark night of the soul. Well, this is awful. This sucks. I don't want a tower moment. I don't want a tower moment when I'm going to be in a union with my twin flame. No, it's not that kind of tower moment. This is destruction of the old. This is a releasing of the old. It's allowing the old to fall away. Like the tower falls. This is the old falling away so that something new can be put in its place. It goes hand in hand with the death card. Okay? It's renewal, you know, but in order for something to die, something must be destroyed. Okay? And my sense about what's being destroyed here is basically the separation of the twin flames' souls. Okay? So the separateness is what is being ended here. Okay, so let's move on to the next cards. The next thing I asked was to tell me what is happening between the divine feminine and the divine masculine in this process. Okay? So the card that I got for the divine feminine was the Four of Pentacles. Okay? Now, if you look at this card, you'll see that, you know, it's a woman and she's kind of sitting next to this waterfall, right? Now, traditionally, the Four of Pentacles is not the best card in the deck, okay? I mean, it can be about holding on to things that you need to release. It can be, you know, holding on to money. It can be about greed. But in this deck, it is a woman who's basically sitting on the edge of a windowsill, and this water is spilling in next to her. Okay? Now, is it actually between her legs? Well, no. But it kind of looks like that. So basically, water is being spilled out from between her legs. That is what I'm getting from my interpretation of the card. I'm an intuitive reader. If this had been a different deck, I would not have interpreted this card this way, but I'm interpreting the image. Okay? So that's what I got for the divine feminine. So then I asked, well, okay, well, what's the divine masculine doing? Okay, so now you can see this man sort of drowning in this water. Now, the Ten of Swords is traditionally a very difficult card. It's a difficult ending of something that went horribly wrong. Okay, but in this particular reading, I'm not interpreting that card this way. Yes, it is an ending, but it's a surrender. Okay, he's not being stabbed to death. All right, he's submerged in water. He's submerged into the water of the divine feminine. Right? This is a sexual thing. That's what it means in this particular context. Okay, so the next thing I asked is, you know, all right, well, tell me more. You know, what else? And so this was the placement, okay? The High Priestess landed next, or sorry, not the High Priestess. The Hierophant landed right next to the card that came up for the feminine, okay? So let's look at this card. Now, the Hierophant can have many meanings, all right? Some people interpret it as marriage, legal marriage in the traditional sense. It can also be a spiritual teacher. Someone who's in touch with the divine. Okay, so what I am interpreting the Hierophant to be in this case is the astral or spiritual aspect of the divine masculine. Okay? This is the divine masculine's higher self, his soul, his astral body, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm taking. That's how I'm interpreting this card. And I also want you to take note of the fact that if you look, you can see that his fingers are pointing upwards. All right, and they're kind of lit up. Now I'll tell you that in the dream that I had with the man I perceived to be my twin flame, the ritual began with him stimulating me with his fingers. And it was intensely pleasurable. I can't even... No actual physical man has ever touched me that way. Okay? So, how I'm interpreting these two cards coming together, the Four of Pentacles and the Hierophant, is that the astral and spiritual or God part of the divine masculine is interacting with the physical part of the divine feminine. He's stimulating her and basically arousing her. Okay, so, and I am not making this up, but the High Priestess came right up next to the physical aspect of the divine masculine. The High Priestess, who is basically the match to the Hierophant. Okay, they're a match. They're a spiritual match. They are this is the feminine counterpart to the Hierophant. And basically, how I'm interpreting this is that in the same way that the astral part of the divine masculine interacts with the physical aspect of the divine feminine, the astral part of the divine feminine interacts with the physical aspect of the divine masculine. She arouses him and helps him to surrender into the physical aspect of the divine feminine. So both the god and goddess are working with the physical aspects of the divine feminine masculine to create this simultaneous astral and physical sexual union between these two people. Okay, I hope that makes sense. The next thing I'm going to talk about, I asked, okay, what are these two people bringing into this interaction, into this, coming together, no pun intended. All right, so what the feminine is bringing to this situation is the Queen of Wands. Now in this deck, she's on fire, okay? She's hot. She's in her full power. She is seductive. She is open. She knows herself. Does this look like a woman who doesn't know her own sexuality? This is a person who owns her sexuality, okay? Now, I also want to take note of the fact that this is a Wands energy, okay? Yes, it's fire energy, but it's also, wand is a phallic symbol, and I interpret Wands energy to be masculine energy. So basically we have this very feminine woman bringing male energy, okay? So what I interpret this to be is that this woman has balanced out the masculine and feminine within herself, okay? And this is the goal of twin flames, is to balance out the masculine and feminine within themselves so that they can come into union. I'm not going to put her all the way back yet because I want to bring her out back in a second. All right, so I asked, what is the masculine bringing? He's bringing the King of Cups, okay? So the Cups energy is feminine energy. Okay? Now, if you think of wands being a phallic symbol, the cup is kind of a sort of, it's a receptacle, all right? So that's kind of a feminine symbol. So he's emotionally mature, he's in touch with his feminine side, and she's in touch with her masculine side, and these two people have balanced out their feminine and masculine energies. Okay, and that is the goal of twin flames. So that is what they have to do before they can come into union. I'm going to put them away, and I'm going to move on. I'm going to talk about this card. The next thing I asked is, what is happening between these two people? And this is the card that came out. I kid you not, the Two of Cups, the traditional union card for twin flames. And in this particular deck, I'm going to switch hands so I'm not blocking the light. They're actually twins. These are twins in bridal gowns, okay? So this is symbolic of marriage. And not only is it two twins in wedding gowns symbolizing marriage, but here they are in front of a cross, okay? Now, I do not subscribe to any particular religious doctrine. I don't believe in any particular religion. I was not raised religious. I definitely have spiritual beliefs, but I'm not religious in any way. However, it doesn't matter. The cross here is symbolizing something holy. The cross is a holy symbol. Regardless of your religious beliefs, you can view the cross as a holy symbol. So what this is telling me is that this is a holy union. This is a holy marriage. That this process, even though it's sexual, and a lot of people kind of have a lot of shame around sexuality, but sexuality is natural. Sexuality is an important part of life. Okay? So this is, a sacred sexual union between twin flames. And if there are any men out there who are watching this video and thinking, oh my God, sacred sexual ritual, that sounds really boring and lame, it's not. It's way hotter than any sex you've ever had. So if you're afraid of having some sacred sexual ritual, trust me, you're gonna love it. You're never gonna want to have sex any other way. I promise you. Okay, so the next thing, let's go on to the final cards. I asked, what is the end result of this process? This union, this sacred marriage, this sacred sexual ritual. What does it result in? And the first card that came out is Temperance. Okay? So this is balance. This is wholeness. This is peace. This is a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. Okay? This is a balancing of the energies. This is heaven. Okay? People think of twin flames, of the twin flame union being heaven on earth, and basically that's what this is. That's what this card represents in this particular reading to me. Okay? It's a balancing of the energies. And the final card, the Four of Wands. The traditional twin flame card. I do not think that the Four of Wands in its initial interpretation was supposed to be about twin flames. I think twin flames, the idea of twin flames is a somewhat new concept, even though I'm not saying that there haven't been twin flames always, but it's definitely become more popular. And so a lot of card readers, myself included, find particular cards in the tarot that represent a twin flame connection. And the Four of Wands is one of those cards, because traditionally it has four wands, which represent the 1111, which is considered the twin flame number. If you see the 1111 on the clock, you know, you might be a twin flame. But I actually don't view 1111 as a strictly twin flame number. It's basically, to me, 1111, if you see it a lot, it's a signal that you are going through a spiritual awakening or ascension. But it's now been associated with twin flames. So the Four of Wands is basically the twin flame marriage card. Okay, this is the joining together of two lives in the physical. Okay, so these people are now going to be united. They're now going to live together in harmony, in union. That's the end result of this sacred sexual act. Now, however you go about it, that's up to you. If you want to get married, you know, get a piece of paper. You want to have the, you know, white dress and all that stuff, that's great. But, you know, that isn't necessary for everybody. I don't think you even have to live together, but probably, from my understanding, that once full union takes place, that it's very difficult to be away from your twin flame for very long. So I suspect that you will end up living together. So that's the end result of this sacred sexual act, the Hieros Gamos. And you can look it up on the internet and find more about it. But there are a lot of different interpretations of it. The only reason I looked it up is because I had that dream, and before that dream I had never heard of the Hieros Gamos, and now I did a tarot reading about it. So I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for watching this video, and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed it. And this may be a new concept for some of you, because I've watched a lot of twin flame videos and tarot readings on YouTube, and I have yet to hear anybody discuss the Hieros Gamos in any of the tarot readings. So I wanted to ask Spirit to please to give me tarot cards that would represent what this actually is, and I think they did a fantastic job. And I hope that you got something out of this video. If you liked it, please hit like and please subscribe to my channel. I'm new to YouTube, and it would really help me if you could subscribe and like, so that I can start to build a following and get these messages out to other people. I very much appreciate you, and I'm sending you all love and light. Take care. Thank you. Bye.